Imagine Florida without theme parks, cruise ports, or home air conditioning. In the 1920s, the state was rapidly modernizing due to a land boom fueled by new railroads and a surge in tourism.
I've seen this land go from wild swamps and forests to cities like Miami and Tampa rising up practically overnight. Tourists are flocking here, drawn by our warm weather and beautiful coastlines, turning our quiet paradise into a bustling playground for developers and dreamers alike.
While winters offered escape from the north, segregation and hurricanes loomed large. Let's explore the events that shaped Florida in the 1920s. The 18th Amendment, ratified in 1919, banned alcohol in the U.S. starting January 1920. This prohibition aimed to curb drinking, but instead sparked a booming underground industry. Despite the law, millions continued to drink, resulting in rum-running, bootlegging, speakeasies, and moonshining. This era saw the rise of infamous criminals like Al Capone.
I see how businesses adapt to the prohibition. Rosenquist Bakery, for example, sells bread downstairs but has a secret speakeasy upstairs. With the right password, I can enjoy a drink there without worrying about the law. This hidden room is a safe haven for many like me who want to unwind.
Rum runners navigated the state's coastline, dodging law enforcement to deliver liquor. The coast, with its hidden inlets and coves, provided perfect cover. After rum runners dropped off the illegal alcohol on the coast, it was typically distributed through networks of smugglers and speakeasies across the state. Bill McCoy was a prominent figure known for smuggling top-notch liquor. He operated off the coast, using fast boats to avoid getting caught and ensuring the delivery of real spirits. In 1927, stricter enforcement and more patrols severely affected the illegal alcohol trade. Prohibition ended in 1933 with the 21st Amendment, allowing Americans to drink alcohol legally once more. After World War I, Florida's popularity soared as Americans sought affordable property and a relaxed lifestyle. This period, known as the Florida Land Boom, saw middle-class families and investors flocking to the state, attracted by newfound wealth and leisure time, thanks in part to advancements like the automobile. The boom led to unprecedented growth in real estate and infrastructure, transforming Florida into a modern destination. Land prices skyrocketed, with some doubling every few months. The market became flooded with scammers, including Charles Ponzi, who sold fake plots in Jacksonville. The boom ended in 1926 when supplies and buyers dwindled, causing investors to sell at huge losses. A hurricane that autumn made things worse, destroying properties and causing bank clearings to plummet. The state experienced economic collapse and widespread financial ruin, leading to significant hardship among investors and residents. In the 1920s, land developers were the driving force in Florida, shaping not just developments but entire cities that defined the iconic Florida lifestyle known worldwide. They favored Mediterranean revival architecture, drawing inspiration from Southern California and the European Riviera to suit Florida's warm climate and outdoor living. D.P. Davis transformed two mud islands at Tampa's Hillsborough River entrance into Davis Islands. This urban suburb featured hotels, yacht and tennis clubs, and stores. Other developments around Tampa Bay included Temple Terrace, which was among the earliest golfing vacation communities. Further down Florida's west coast, Venice was one of the first retirement communities, designed by a railroad union. Baron Collier initiated Naples and Marco Island as winter resorts. George Merrick purchased more than 1,000 acres of citrus land. He meticulously planned Coral Gables with strict architectural standards and concealed utility lines. Merrick also created Venetian Pool in 1924, which continues to operate in the same location today. Joseph W. Young, coming from Long Beach, California, transformed a barren oceanfront area north of Miami into Hollywood, Florida, with more than 100,000 residents living there today. Addison Meisner is noted for designing the Boca Raton Hotel and its surrounding town. Orlando was a quiet, small town with just over 9,000 residents in 1920, very different from today's modern, bustling city famous for theme parks like Walt Disney World. The land boom of the 1920s caused Orlando's population to grow rapidly, reaching more than 27,000 by 1930. In the 1920s, Miami Beach became a glamorous hotspot, thanks to visionary developer Carl Fisher. He transformed the area into a playground for the rich and famous by draining swamps, building roads, and constructing luxury hotels and golf courses. Fisher also funded the completion of the first bridge linking Miami to Miami Beach, known as the Collins Bridge. Miami Beach Paradise quickly attracted well-known figures including Al Capone, who had a home on Palm Island. Millionaires like J.C. Penney built luxury mansions in Miami, enhancing the city's appeal as a glamorous destination for the wealthy. The Great Miami Hurricane of 1926 was a devastating storm that slammed Miami, the Bahamas, and the U.S. Gulf Coast in September. The damages were estimated at $105 million, which is more than $164 billion today.
As I watched the storm tear through our town, fear gripped me like never before. Everything we knew, loved, and called home seemed to vanish in the relentless fury of nature's wrath.
The hurricane formed in the Atlantic Ocean on September 11th and quickly intensified, becoming a Category 4 storm by September 15th near the Virgin Islands. It then hit the Bahamas before striking Miami on September 18th. The hurricane demolished buildings, displaced thousands, and more than 300 lives were lost. Most of the lives lost happened near Lake Okeechobee when the storm caused water to break through the dikes, drowning hundreds. Several famous Florida landmarks from the 1920s have since disappeared or been significantly altered. Located in Palm Beach, the Royal Poinciana Hotel was once the largest wooden structure in the world. It was demolished in 1935. Situated in Miami Beach, the Flamingo Hotel was a luxurious resort that attracted many celebrities. It was demolished in the 1950s. The Seminole Hotel was a significant landmark in Jacksonville until it was demolished in the 1970s. These landmarks were integral to Florida's development during the Roaring Twenties. During the 1920s in Florida, African Americans faced daunting challenges and deep-rooted racism. Despite the end of slavery and hopes of progress, they battled segregation, voter suppression, and the constant threat of racial violence. Economically, many worked in agriculture or low-paying service jobs. Urban migration promised better prospects, but often led to exploitative conditions worsened during Florida's economic boom. Yet some African American communities thrived, building their own institutions amidst adversity. Tragedies like the Ocoee and Rosewood massacres, where white mobs took the lives of dozens of African American residents and burned their homes, underscored the era's racial tensions, devastating communities, and revealing widespread hostility. Through resilience, they contributed immensely to Florida's culture and economy, despite systemic oppression. In the 1920s and 1930s, Pensacola's jazz scene thrived on Palafox Street. Local and visiting bands filled venues, and stars like Sidney Bechet performed. Florida's tourism flourished too. Luxury hotels like the Coral Gables Biltmore, built in 1926, and Henry Flagler's Royal Palm Hotel in Miami wowed guests with opulent designs and amenities. The era also saw the rise of motoring tourists. In 1925, 2.5 million visitors drove to Florida, shifting from trains and steamboats. Artists and writers flocked to Florida's vibrant culture. Miami became a hub for creativity, drawing luminaries like Robert Frost, who found inspiration in its beauty and lively social scene. In the 1920s, Key West was a sleepy island, barely touched by Florida's boom. Residents survived through fishing, sporadic tourism, and occasional rum-running. In 1928, Ernest Hemingway called it the Saint Tropez of the poor. When the Great Depression hit in the 1930s, Key West was devastated. By 1934, 80% of the population was on relief. In the 1930s, President Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal brought hope, turning the island into an experiment to transform it into the tourist haven it is today. John Ashley was a notorious outlaw and bootlegger who hid out in the Everglades during the 1920s, leading a gang that robbed banks, trains, and stores. Ashley lost his life in a shootout with police in 1924. Before air conditioning, Floridians found creative ways to beat the heat. In the 1850s, Dr. John Gorey invented an ice machine to cool malaria and yellow fever patients, paving the way for modern AC. By the 1920s, AC appeared in theaters and hotels, becoming common in homes by the 1940s and 50s. To stay cool, Floridians wore light clothes, used fans, drank iced tea, and swam. Homes had metal roofs, high ceilings, and big windows, which allowed for better airflow and ventilation. Enduring the heat was seen as character building until post-World War II air conditioning transformed life. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. If you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Before you go, make sure to check out these 2 fascinating videos. Thanks for watching the History Stop, and we'll see you next time.